Walter, welcome to the cave. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, man.
Exciting times, man. October 11th, right around the corner for the new season of the Oval.
Yes, sir.
How's it feel, man? We'll be waiting a little while for the next season to come up.
Hey, listen, the wait is over. We are back. Listen, I'm excited myself, man. I was like, everyone, I don't have to answer any more questions about when are you coming back? I don't understand. Sisters is back on. When are y'all coming? Are y'all coming back? We are back October 11th, and I'm very excited, as you can see.
That's great. We're gonna jump more into the season in a little bit, but I was doing some research on you, and I wanted to know a little bit more about Walter. Born in
Hey,
Philly, born in
yes,
Philly,
that's right.
father of the military, and you've been all over the world. I gotta know, what's your favorite
Yes.
place in the world?
Probably, oh, it's a toss up. I was about to say Japan, but I love Europe. What it is, it was just a different time then, right? I was older. When I was in Japan, that's when it started for me. My dad got out of the military, re-enlisted, and then we started traveling. So I was born in Philly. We lived in Jersey at McGuire Fort Dix. Then we moved to Japan for another 3 years. I think that had a very serious effect on how I look at life now. Seeing other cultures from the beginning that's different than me, and not just American, but what we would consider foreign. And so it wasn't a domestic experience, it was more of an international. So by the time I got to be 16, 17, I was the wild child, but also, I had a broader spectrum of, outlook in terms of the world. So I wasn't just limited like a lot of some of my friends, that I was growing up with some of whom which I'm still friends with. But they were always like, man, you just always kind of seem like a little different in terms of how you thought. So
That's great. What
yeah,
so at what age did you kind of like get in a little acting bug when you were like, oh man, I want to get into this?
from the beginning, man. I remember being 4 years old, living in Japan, Kadena, Okinawa. There was a show on television. It was a military program, man. It had all the kids on there like Sesame Street, right?
Okay.
But it was a base programming. And so I used to see kids on the show, man. They get on the show, they be all on these little bleachers, like we about to take pictures for elementary school. And the guy would come around with the camera and he'd be like, oh, so tell me your name. And the kids would be like, hi, my name is Billy. And they say, okay, well, tell me your name. My name is Christina. And you get to one kid and they'd be like, hey, tell me your name. And he'd be like a deer in the headlight, right? And I'm like, oh man, so at that age, even at 4 or 5, I was like, man, I want to go on that show. I can't believe those kids got on there and didn't speak. When I get on there, this is what I'm gonna do. And so my dad got us on the show. So my brother and I go on the show. We get on the show, tell me your name, tell me your name, tell me your name. And get to my brother, tell me your name. Hi, my name is Reggie. Oh, wonderful to meet you, Reggie. Very nice. Are you happy to be here? Yes, it's good. So you get to me. Tell me your name. I ended up being just like those kids I was talking about, man. I was a deer in the headlights, couldn't say anything. I remember that feeling to this day, man. And what it did, when I look back, I'm grateful for it, because what it did was when I finally kind of took that leap of faith for myself to become an actor, it gave me the courage. It was always that thing that was kind of haunting me. You know what I'm saying? The allure before was constantly knocking at my door, but it did propel me forward. So that's when it started, man, when I was very young, from the beginning.
Your father didn't try to push you into the military or anything?
No, my dad was good with that, man. He didn't force that kind of stuff. He did have that military, even South and West Philly mentality in terms of how he grew up and some of the things he instilled in us. So he was hard in ways, but also soft. But in terms of acting, my dad, man, when we were in Jersey at McGuire Air Force Base the second time, when we came back from Japan, basically my dad was doing the King speech, the Martin Luther King I Have a Dream speech, all over, man. He was one of the first guys to do it very well. I mean, well. And he started getting death threats and everything when we was in Jersey. So we did a march in 1983 that Martin Luther King III came down, man. It was like something I never seen, man. It was like the red carpet. You had the military processional. Ms. Coretta Scott King was supposed to come, but she had another event that she had to drop out of last minute. So Martin was there, but it was just him solo. I remember being a little kid. I was like Gary Coleman size, like just really small. But I remember, man, shaking his hand, looking up to him, and it was like Martin Luther King III. It was a big deal. We were supposed to do a march. We got N-words slurred on our cars and placards up all over the place. We'll kill you if you make this march. So Martin Luther King III thought it wasn't a good idea to do it. But my family, man, like we come from a lot of entertainers. My aunt Doris sang opera all over Europe back in the time when segregation was. This is my great aunt. You know, so when segregation was at its peak, um, she got a lot of death threats and things intimidated here in America. So she went over to Europe and you know, had a successful career over there. My grandmother, grandfather, they just seemed like entertainers. My mom and dad, I was just around it all the time. My uncle actually was roommates with Kobe Bryant's father at LaSalle, and they were really good
Wow.
friends. Yeah, so I came up around a lot of people. I sometimes elaborate on. I grew up around a lot of fame and all that kind of stuff, and this just kind of was in the pocket. My brother used to rap back in the day. I was just always around it.
I was just gonna ask you, like you said, your brother wasn't that show with you. What's he doing these days?
Now he's a contractor, man. He started out,
He
look,
went
he
the
did
other
that.
way.
Yeah, but we're both, it's like I was telling him even the other day. I was like, we're both successful and creative just in our ways. You're doing
Mm.
homes and you're doing commercial, you know, sites and all this kind of stuff, man. I'm like, listen, that's something to be proud of. You've always done it since you was like 18, 19. You was ahead of the game. I'm just now catching up.
So you, when I was doing the research on you, I saw that you've worked on some cool projects. You did Heaven, which was a short film. You know, you've done like
Oh,
Grey's Anatomy, The Young and the
yeah.
Restless. Like, what's been your favorite other than The Oval? Because I know you're gonna say The Oval.
Well, the Oval was a godsend. Anything that Tyler brought for me, man, it was great right off the bat. But I think if I had to choose, I would choose like some of my predecessors, and I would say my next project.
Okay, a lot of
You know
people
what I'm
say
saying?
that. A lot of
Yeah,
people say that.
because I love all of them. It's kind of like loving children. You know what I'm saying? You love
Mm,
them all in different ways, but you love them all the same, and you're grateful for every bit of experience that you have
yeah.
during those occasions. And then you look into the next one. You're like, what's next? You know, I think that's just life, the nature of life. You know, it's just like you have a port of destination or a goal out front for yourself, and then you want to go to the next port of destination. Now that I've been to France, where we gonna go? Let's go to Australia. Let's go to Africa. You know, let's go here. Let's go to Japan this year. You know, it's that kind
Anyway,
of
yeah.
yeah. So I
what's
always have a
what's
port.
what's Walter's goal or dream role?
My dream role, listen, my goal, my ultimate goal is to not be the best, but to be one of the best in
Mm,
this industry in terms of what I offer. It's not to say that I'm trying to be better than anybody else, right? Because there's a lot of great ones out there. Acting is so subjective. It's not like getting out there and who's the fastest on this day. You know what I'm saying? You could be the best and still not be like, I don't like him, I don't like her. You know, so that's just the nature of life. But what I do want to be is held in the conversation. Why? Because that's what I wouldn't have started this journey had I not believed in myself to be one of the best. I think I want to. It's like the professional arena, like the NFL, the NBA, or
right.
NHL, MLB. You know, to serve at the highest level, I cannot run past the point of service. I do see myself as a servant in the guest service industry. I see myself as a servant. I'm grateful for the fans. I'm grateful for all the other actors and players and crew that collaborate with us to help us make this magic so that we
Right.
can live this life and entertain in ways that creates magic in other people's lives. So it really is about servitude for me, truly.
That's awesome. So let's jump into the Oval.
Yeah.
Did you think like there's a big fandom of the Oval? People are loving this show.
Yes, they are. They get and they'll let you know too.
Oh
Because they'll
yeah.
get online. Listen, I get DMs, messages, and I just, like I grew up, I got a thick skin, man. You know, I don't take any of it personally. I just see it all as entertainment. And
Yeah.
I take the good with the bad and understand that they work together. And I'm grateful for all the fan commentary that's out there and the
There's,
support.
there's a lot of Facebook groups out there.
Yeah, yeah. They are. I get people to call me up, even family. Whoa, they got memes of you online. Oh my God. I'm like, I did not know, but enjoy it.
Do you ever get the random text meme?
Every now and then I'll get it.
Yeah.
And the tricked out part is, man, my wife will even do it sometimes. So I start, doing the back, getting into it.
So we all know you as Sam Owens,
Yes,
Secret Service.
yes,
Obviously,
yes,
I mentioned it before we went on the air. Ed Quinn, Franklin Hunter. What do
yeah.
you love? What do you love about Sam Owens?
Listen, okay, so let me just say this, just to be very specific for all your viewers. The name is Owen.
Oh,
That's
when?
not, yeah, yeah. So it's not, it's because I get that a lot, right? And then I'm like, well, then someone will say, well, why do people call y'all Owens? And then you'll see people online, they'll be arguing about it's not Owens, it's Owens. So let me start off with that, right? Let me leave with that. But in terms of being, just tell me the question, ask me the question one more time.
So
I can
what do you
offer you.
love? What do you love about this character?
Oh, listen, what I love going into this character, man, is how it was built. When I read the script, it was a page turn. So you get 22, I think we had 25 the first season. And as I read the first season, I could hear all of the characters. Like
Mm,
without even I had met anybody. It was just how Tyler wrote it. Maybe because I had worked with him on Medea Farewell Tour and Fall from Grace already. We had been on the road a lot. Maybe I already kind of knew his rhythm in terms of hearing it. But
yeah.
when I heard it the first season, I heard all the characters, and so I was like, oh, a lot of what I hear, even in terms of Sam and my relationship with everybody, I was like, this kind of reminds me of my dad. You know what I'm saying? And how I grew up around him when we were in the military and how he worked with, young, recruits and stuff like that. So I did draw from a lot of that. I can't deny that. Uh-oh, my headset.
No, you're good.
I'm gonna take this off.
All right, all right.
It's going off. Can you still hear me okay?
Oh yeah, I can hear you.
Beautiful. So I'm gonna turn this up. So yeah, my father is half of the character. And to be honest with you, this is a secret I don't think I've ever told anybody before. The other half of the character is Ray Donovan. What I like, and I haven't even watched the series, right? I saw series one or at least half of it, but then I couldn't afford cable at the time, so I lost track and fell off. But I like the essence. It was something about this man that I liked because I saw Sam Owen as a little trouble from the very beginning. This inner conflict. And that's the thing that reminded me of Ray Donovan. It was something that was unspoken. And it was like this seamless kind of connection that Sam has too, that's unspoken. And that quiet demeanor, like you see how loud and boisterous and all that energy I am. And something told me, Walt, go against the grain, bring all that back and relate that like your dad and this kind of temperament together, because my dad can be all that too. And so it was interesting to me how Sam had to be poised and controlled at all times in these kind of situations to represent the White House and his family and name and all that, in a respectable way. But it has been difficult for me. But I do find comfort in a familiar kind of a grace in it now. So I love it.
What do you think was the biggest challenge playing this character?
The time.
Yeah.
Because Tyler shoots, man. I love the man. Listen, when I tell you I'm completely grateful, I'm completely grateful. Completely grateful. But he shoots. Like we did 22 episodes this last season in 8 days. Last year we did it in 8 days.
Wow.
Like on the schedule, it might say 14, it might say 12, but you already know it's not. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes, it's a labor of love. You're like, where am I? I'm like, hey, Tyler, he's like, hey, what, you need a break? You need some time? You need anything? I was like, yeah, can I get this in a minute? Yeah, sure. And he'll walk back. He'll be like, and action. I'm like, oh, so it's that,
I've read interviews with him where he's like, he's already thinking about the next project while he's doing this project.
That's right. And the man, I think he edits, he does everything. By the time we even shoot the day, it's done. Yeah. I'm like, man. So that's been an experience, but I'm grateful because I feel like in many ways it has made me stop thinking in so much as an actor. So it's been great.
So Sam in the show, he's like, I'm gonna put him in the category of he's one of the good guys, but then we also have a few villains on the show. Who's your favorite villain?
Oh, it's tough, man. Shoot, sometimes I wish I could be the villain. I say my favorite villain is me. Now, if I had a second, because I'm fighting a war within myself, right? I'm fighting the war within my marriage. There's a lot that's going on. I'm fighting the war in the White House. It seemed like Sam, even from the beginning, was the hub. You got the wheel, you got the spokes, and Sam's the hub, right? He's trying to help everything stay together. He's trying to maintain his own integrity and not doing such a great job, but he's fighting. At least my man fighting, right? He didn't get to the end of the rope and let go. He's still kind of trying to pull himself up, and I think he's going to crawl his way out of this. So I guess outside of myself, if I had to point a finger at somebody that's really, really just not maybe a good person, and like if in life, if I wouldn't want to have anything to just be too close with them because it might rub off on me, I would have to say Kyle. Sorry, Kyle. I love you, Brad. Brad's a dope dude. Brad is a dope dude, but he's just taking directives, so it's not him. He's just doing his job.
I was for a second, I was waiting for you to say Lodrick's character, Donald. I had Lodrick on the show, and his character is all over the place.
Yeah. But I think it's that Kyle logic dynamic
Yeah.
because of their love affair. And of course, we know Kyle is being manipulated so much by the chief of staff. But I think there's a part of me that's like, but that's still a brother. So my brother may not do me in, even though we crabs in a barrel mentality, you know, it's systemic. But at the end of the day, I said, man, that Kyle, man, he'll do anything. If you tell him, he's gonna do it.
I know we can't talk about spoilers, but what are you hoping for when the fans return to watch this show for the new season? What are you hoping they get out of it?
Man, I hope they just continue to catch fire. I hope they continue to fall in love with the show. I consider it a love affair. You know, it's an everlasting thing. Like I hope they wake up Tuesday morning with the mindset of, man, I can't wait for this date tonight, you know, because it's been a hard week. It's been tough. This life is sometimes stressing me out like in these ways. And I just needed to escape. You know what I'm saying? I need something to just allow me to forget about something for a while, like a great book or something, you know, just allow myself to just a great game, you know what I'm saying? You know, just get lost and mesmerized in the magic of what they created. And what what I feel like the fans are, you know, helping to collaborate. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know for sure, but I do think Tyler or someone gives Tyler some of the things that, you know, maybe the blogs are asking for, and then he just writes it, some of it in his way, you know. So if nothing else, continue to love on us, and we'll continue to love on y'all, man. And we'll just keep this thing going.
And you never know. He loves these spinoffs, but you'll get a Sam spinoff.
Hey, I receive it. Oh, what? All day is mine. I got it. I like the way you think, my friend.
So the O's returns October 11th. What's next for you now? Any other projects you're allowed to tell us about that you're coming up or working on?
Listen, I get offers sometimes that come up all the time, but it seems like they always seem to coincide with right around this time of year or right around the time of year at the beginning of the year when we're starting work again. So there's nothing on the horizon. I've had some opportunities to do some wonderful projects that I thought were wonderful, that, you know, some passion projects that I was going to get into, but then my life kind of took a turn, and I had to scramble and move and you know and adapt. You know, and that's the way I say. I say champions adapt. So, you know, I'm adaptable in that way.
Yeah. Take a little break and then continue on the grinding.
And what's next? You know, something's coming. Why? Because I'm on that A-list track, or at least that's the goal. That's the port of destination. Maybe not the very next port, but that's where it's
awesome.
Yeah.
Walter, how can the listeners and the viewers find you on social media, keep up with you?
Little Lord Font on Instagram. Now listen, y'all, I'm a middle-aged man. I'm social, but I'm not as social. I need a midday nap sometime, but you can find me online at Walter Fauntleroy on Facebook, and also at Little Lil Lord Font, my last name, on Instagram. And I promise you, I'll keep you updated with what's going on the show.
There you go. Walter, this was a great chat. Thank you for coming on, my friend.
Thank you, Elias, man. I appreciate you, man. I love that Chronicles, the Chronicle sign behind you, man.
Perfect.
I'm trying to think of my own YouTube stuff and get stuff together. I love that, man. Keep shining, rocking, man.
Thank you.